Hello out there, I'm the Oldest Nerd. Today we're not going into the Gamma Quadrant or talking about the Dominion and the war that will eventually begin there, but a small story. One about the love interest for Major Kira, who is Videk Bareil, one of the religious class on Bajor, and their leader, Kai Wynn. Now, we know from past episodes that Kai Wynn is not exactly the most pious individual there is. She has gotten her position as Kai through political means and some underhanded tactics. And yet, in this episode, she almost seems like she has changed. And it doesn't take long, though, before we realize that she's the same Wynn that we've known all along, but has ulterior motives. The episode begins where Videk Bareil, who is helping her with negotiations with the Cardassians, is injured in a gobbledygook breach. We'll just say that. Tech. They usually put it in the script, tech, where they want to drop in some kind of technical thing that O'Brien gets to say, and everybody else just kind of looks questioningly at him, and might as well. He could make it up for all we know. In fact, somebody is, so what the hey. Nevertheless, we have a situation where Videk Bareil is terribly injured. He's taken to medical, and he is absolutely crucial in order to keep these negotiations going. And so they have to go through some incredible leaps in order to keep him alive. And the message behind all of this is, how far do you go? I know these days, whenever you go to the doctor, the first thing they ask you is, have you signed a future orders kind of thing, where if something happens to you while you're sitting in their office, do they bring in the crash cart or do they let you die? And it is a legitimate question depending on your state of health. If you are a person who is barely hanging on to life as it is, you might not want them to connect you with every machine in the world and keep you going. In this case, Bareil wanted to, so that he could continue to help with the negotiations. And the problem was that the treatment was worse than any cure there was. In fact, it would be hastening his death, something that likely could have happened anyway. Their choices were to either put him in stasis until they found some kind of cure, or they could keep him going until basically the medicine killed him. And the question here that's presented in this episode is, how far should you go just to stay alive? How far should you go just to continue to have another day, another week, another couple of hours? This is an ethical question that is something that's been going on for quite some time. Obviously, the show was done in the 90s, and we're still talking about it today. Do you want to just go when your natural death occurs, or do you want heroic measures? And that's the question this asks, and there's good on both sides of this. We have Kira, who really wants to have more time with Bareil, but also understands the importance of his mission. You have Kai Wynn, who understands the importance of the mission and is willing to sacrifice his life in order to get that done. And you have Bareil himself, who is willing to sacrifice his own life for the greater mission. There's no right answer here. We have Julian on the other side of it saying, I have a responsibility to my patient. I don't want to cause him more pain. I want to let him die if he's going to, but not keep him artificially alive and suffering. There may not be much that I can do about this. and you add the science fiction element to it that they could put him in stasis, but that essentially would be just kicking the can down the road. And there's a question of whether anybody would want that. I think the closest thing to that these days would be an induced coma. We'll put him in induced coma and then hope we can figure something out between now and whenever. And so that's the question that this episode is asking. Where would you be? Where would you be with someone who you're in love with? Where would you be with someone who you needed help from? Where would you be if the person himself wanted to do the heroic treatment that might not work? So a lot of heavy questions asked in this episode, and they try to lighten it up by having Jake and Nog go on a double date, and they find out that the Ferengi dating customs are considerably different than human ones, and it causes a rift between the two of them, and the way they settle it is something that is uplifting, shall we say. In the end, we knew how it was going to end. We knew that it was not going to be a happy time, and it's the situation that doctors face. It's a situation that families face, and so we leave it to you as that. Please let me know what you think about this in the comments, and if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so at this time. We appreciate that. You can click on subscribe down below, or you can also click on the circle and knob that's actually over here. Until then, don't go far.